Captain Viral Kothari was bred to be a hunter, not merely by training but by genetic design. Her ancestors were elite predators on the jungle world of Kael'vas, and their legacy lived on in her. Muscles coiled beneath her iridescent black skin. Her emerald eyes, slitted like a serpent's, could track a target through the densest swamp or across the frozen dunes of Relax. She'd hunted rogue droids, smugglers, and once, a chameleon beast that could melt into shadows. All had fallen to her. None had escaped. That was until she was given her latest mission. "Your prey is human," said High Marshal Zytron, voice cold as steel. "Designation, Jacob Rains. Special Forces. Escaped from Omega Prison. We tracked him to the uncolonized moon Scar 9. He's alone. You are authorized to neutralize with extreme prejudice." A low snarl built in Viral's throat. Humans. Primitive. Violent. And dangerously adaptable. She hated how the Council spoke of them with growing respect. Their species had no telepathy, no genetic memory, no advanced biotech, yet they spread like fire, surviving where no one should. She accepted the mission without a word. One human. One moon. It would be a short hunt. The game of shadows. Scar 9 was a dead rock, windswept and scarred by old mining operations. Atmosphere thin, gravity low. Viral disembarked from her drop pod in full hunter's armor. Her rifle slung across her back, sensors alive with red dots and pulse lines. She moved low and fast across the ravaged terrain, eyes scanning for heat signatures. She found the first signs of him in an abandoned comm station. Half a protein ration eaten, bent spoon, and scratched into the wall. Hunting's more fun when it's mutual. Challenge. He grinned. The hunt stretched into days. The human knew the land, had studied her tactics, and laid traps. Simple ones, tripwires, sonic mines, even a holographic decoy. But each one told her something about him. Disciplined, creative, unrelenting. He adapted faster than most prey. But he also left tracks. Mistakes. Overturned rocks. The faint scent of sweat. He was tiring. She tracked him to a cave system near the planet's equator. Viral slowed her breathing, activated thermal vision, and moved silently into the dark. He was waiting. A sudden crash. Rocks above collapsed. She dodged, barely avoiding being crushed. A second later, a rope snared her ankle, yanking her off balance. She twisted mid-air, slicing the cord, landing hard on her back. By the time she stood, he was gone. But he'd left something again. Another message etched into the wall. "You're good. I'm better." Her blood boiled. This was no longer a hunt. This was war. The turning point. Viral adjusted her tactics. She stopped chasing. Instead, she set her own traps, mirrored his strategies, and let the human grow overconfident. She planted false heat signals, feigned injuries, and waited. On the 7th day, her sensors pinged. Movement. Real. Blows. She crouched behind a ridge of rusted metal, heart hammering, not from fear but from the thrill. A figure, lean, humanoid, wrapped in scavenged armor, moving with practiced stealth. Jacob Rains. Took aim. A pulse of energy ripped from her rifle, but he moved just in time. Only his shoulder caught the edge of the blast. He staggered but kept running. Now wounded. She followed the trail of blood across the dunes, her footsteps light, heart surging with triumph. She cornered him hours later in a shattered observation dome. He stood, panting, one arm limp at his side. Still defiant. "You're relentless," he said, voice rough. "I respect that." "You should beg," she hissed, leveling her rifle. He didn't. Instead, he smiled. "I already won." Too late, she felt it. An electromagnetic pulse detonated under her feet. Her rifle died. Her armor seized. Paralysis crept up her limbs like ice. He stepped forward and caught her before she collapsed. "Gotcha," he whispered. "Captured." She awoke inside a makeshift cell. Metal panels welded into a cube, enough room to sit but not stand. Her armor was gone. He'd disabled her neural implants, overridden her communication channel, and he was watching her. "Hydration," he offered through a hole in the wall, sliding a water pack. She bared her teeth. "You'll regret this," he chuckled. "I doubt that. Time passed differently when you were prey." He didn't torture her, didn't interrogate her, just talk. "I used to hunt too," he said one evening. "In the jungle worlds. My prey were smart, yes, but they never saw the ambush coming." She said nothing. Another day. "You know your species underestimates humans. You see us as savages. But savagery, that's a tool. We're more than that." She refused to answer. Another day still. "You know, you're the best tracker I've ever seen. But you make one big mistake." She raised an eyebrow. "You think a good hunter always finishes the chase. But the best ones, they know when the game's changed." She stared back at him, a flicker of doubt forming for the first time. Unexpected alliance. On the 12th day, the base shook violently. "Orbital scans detected a strike team approaching," he said, jaw clenched. "Your people. They're not here to rescue you. They're here to erase us both." She blinked. "Why?" He looked at her. "Because you failed. And you know how your kind handles failure." Silence. She did know. Kael'Vas' doctrine was clear. No extraction for failed hunters. Only cleanup. "I can get us off-world," he said. "But I need your help." She laughed bitterly. "Why should I trust you?" He unlocked her cage. "Because if we stay here, we both die." And so, the predator and the prey became allies. They moved fast, disabling sensor arrays, slipping past automated defenses. She regained her armor, though he still held the rifle. Trust, after all, was earned, not given. They reached a buried shuttle, long forgotten, half fused with sand and metal. Jacob had been repairing it in secret. 2 minutes to override launch lock, he said. Viral nodded, positioning herself at the entrance with her weapon. Shadows moved in the distance. Kael'Vas strike operatives, swift and silent. She fired without hesitation. Not to kill, just to delay. For once, she was the shield, not the spear. The escape. The engines roared to life. The ship shook, sand whipping through the air. Jacob dragged her aboard as plasma bolts carved into the hull. They launched into the stars, the ground falling away beneath them. Inside they collapsed side by side, breathless. "Still think humans are just prey?" he asked. She looked at him, her voice low. "No. You're something else." "A threat," he teased. "A challenge," she said. "And I never back down from a challenge." Epilogue, the new hunt. Weeks later, on a neutral station orbiting the gas giant Iroskel, 2 figures walked through the crowded market. One human, one Kael'Vas, both armed, both watching each other's backs. They weren't fugitives anymore. They were something stranger. Partners. She still watched him like prey sometimes, and he still set traps when he cooked, just to see if she'd notice. The game never really ended. But neither of them wanted it to. She hunted him once. Now, she couldn't imagine running alone again.